Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about somebody that I feel like has been overlooked for quite a long time. And it's time to shed some light to this person. Now before I get to the first series of clips that I'm going to show you, I want to tell you that these questionable characters have slid by undetected all this time. But time's up, Keith and Chuck. You wonder why you don't hear much about this extortion and about Keith and Chuck, who ended up with the sex tape that Lisa Van Allen stole. It's because Jim Derogatis, the source to all this bullshit, didn't get an interview with Keith nor Chuck, but somebody else had a conversation with them. And this person is being slowly but surely ignored. And I find that odd, because this is someone who was also covering the 2008 trial of R. Kelly and who witnessed the same thing that we're witnessing with this surviving R. Kelly. But let Lisa Van Allen give you her play. And just a fair warning, there's music playing, because I don't know if YouTube is going to let me share this or not, but I'm going to give it a try. So just listen. And if you want to, you can go to Lisa Van Allen's Vlad interview to get her version without the music.
R. Kelly was acquitted in 2008. He's basically said that he intimidated witnesses.
I agree with him on that. There was a lot of intimidation. I think he was acquitted not because he was innocent, because they clearly said that was him on the tape, but they also
That's a lie.
said that they were unable to prove beyond reasonable doubt that was a 14-year-old, being that the girl did say under oath that it wasn't her, even though, I testified that it was her, and it was, because, I've had a sexual act with them as well, so.
Michael Avenatti submitted a
So you admit you had sex with an underage girl, and they're comfortable letting you admit this. Okay.
second video to the state's attorney in Chicago, and it described in lurid detail what is on that video. Did you read about the description, and does that ring true to you?
Yeah, honestly, what he stated thus far, and what I know, it's very familiar to me, what he's talking about. I feel like they have a very strong case.
The book is Surviving the Pied Piper, The Untold Story.
Yes.
My understanding is you can
Okay, let's get to your book that you're trying to sell. Right.
pre-order this in your website.
There's some really good stuff in there. There's a story about me and Foxy Brown. It's really interesting, about her giving me a hard time during the concert that his tour that I actually was a part of.
She gave,
he pushed me out of the
hold on, I'm sorry, now you brought that up. Did she give you a hard time saying you should be getting away from him?
No, this is when I was dating him. She would tell the whole show to everyone in the audience. I don't know why she would do that, other than Rob said that she actually wanted to date him.
So after Lisa Van Allen name dropped Keith Muriel again in the Vlad interview, that just got my curiosity going. See, again, that's what they do when they do these videos. They just put people like me up on game. So quite naturally, I get to searching. So let's go back 2008. So, let's get to Keith Muriel. In March 2007, she called Kelly about the sex tape she took and said it was not in her possession. An associate of hers in Kansas City, Keith Muriel, had it. So in March 2007, she called him. Not he found out and contacted her. She called him with this whole extortion plot. She offered to arrange for its retrieval. She offered to arrange. Why was she offering? Because she was looking for money. Kelly offered $250,000 for the tape. She said, "He tried to offer me money. I did not extort him." So, did you ask for $250,000? Her ex-fiance, Yule Brown, and Muriel flew to Chicago to exchange the tape and the payment, she said. Once Kelly's business manager, Daryl McDavid, saw the video and verified it to be legitimate, she and Muriel were paid $20,000 cash. Kelly said the remainder of the $250,000 would be paid upon receipt of original tape. So that leads me to believe they were showing a copy. And clearly we see that, as R. Kelly said, he didn't see the tape. His manager was handling this deal. Lisa Van Allen is an admitted thief and liar who wouldn't know the truth if she tripped over it. It's funny she tries to downplay her involvement in this whole blackmail extortion plot. But either way it go, her hands are dirty, from sleeping with a minor to selling this tape back to Daryl McDavid. Not to mention passing it on to somebody else. If there was any crime committed here, it was her attempt to extort money from R. Kelly, McDavid said in a statement. Adam again accused Van Allen and Yule of cooking up a scheme to get money from Kelly, as alleged by Van Allen's former boyfriend, Damon Pryor. Pryor popped up as a surprise potential witness for the defense last week, stalling Van Allen's testimony. He is the father of her 5-year-old daughter and convicted of identity theft. Whose identity did he steal? I wonder. Pryor served time in federal prison for bank fraud. Brown also has a federal fraud conviction. So you have all these fraudsters sitting around plotting on R. Kelly, and he's the fucking criminal. Do you have something that they have to have federal conviction for fraud before you're interested in them? Adam asked Van Allen. With a haughty smirk and chuckle, she laughed in response to his question. Part of the scheme was bribe Kelly out of millions and for Brown to get assistance with his own legal woes in Georgia, Adam said. Cook County prosecutors were contacted several times in March by Brown after he was recently charged in Georgia with having a loaded AK-47 and drugs in the couple's home. He pled guilty and received probation instead of the 22 years in prison he faced. So it sounds like a whole lot of people got motives to try to frame R. Kelly for this so-called crime to get out of their own crimes. But let's go back to Keith Muriel, because that was the point. See how so many people just come up in this bullshit? More colorful characters descend on R. Kelly trial, was this headline back in 2008. As R. Kelly's child pornography trial slowly turns into the 23rd chapter of Trapped in the Closet, two men from Kansas City are en route to Chicago, where they're expected to give an explosive press conference tomorrow that will purportedly be big news and reveal all. Keith Muriel and Charles Freeman are former associates of Kelly and Lisa Van Allen, the woman who testified Monday, who have been accused by Kelly's lawyers of extortion and faking the sex tape at the center of the trial. And that's what I've been looking for, because that's what I thought. See, I'm the type of person that like to bring my opinion with some facts. And this is a fact because this is an article from 2008. And it's not the only article, as you could see. As I was saying, let's go to my live. How about that? Now, what I find strange is that a couple nights ago, I slid on over on their page and I crept on a little bit of convo. And once I shared a couple posts, it's funny how I end up blocked. It looked like to me they're looking for their moment in the spotlight. Why you block me though? Let me show you what I found. This lady done did multiple interviews saying she gave the tape to Keith, but conveniently, when she get her monkey ass on Surviving R. Kelly, the bitch want to talk about, I gave it to someone I befriended. Man, stop fucking playing. See, what had happened was Keith Muriel had his little group, and him and R. Kelly and all them, they were touring, and maybe he just felt because his little moment in the spotlight didn't pan for touring, and maybe he just felt because his little moment in the spotlight didn't pan off the way he had expected. So when I seen his name pop up again, I come on to his page and see that, they pretty much been living in fairyland, just thinking about all the past ever since. See, 2014, like, it's time to let that shit go. But why these people aren't being subpoenaed in this case? Because they were there, and according to Lisa Van Allen, she gave this man right here the sex tape. So what's going on? They say, who's playing them in the R. Kelly movie, though? He said, this was 34 weeks ago. He says, yo, I need a copy. Wow, I've been looking everywhere for this, talking about the video above. Wilford says, might have to ask y'all big homie if he still kept a copy. He probably got to go through them other tapes first to find it. And I just realized he got to be talking about R. Kelly with that little comment, because then he comes back and says this. That not him on the tape. Wilfred Barrett. Let's see who this is. I'm gonna have to check him out on another time. Keith says, come on, TBE, if it wasn't for Rachel Dion, we would have been the biggest stars in the world, laughing out loud. And so I went on her page. You know what's funny? This lady right here seems to have I don't know, this little weird obsession. You see, she seems to like Tank. And apparently this isn't a real photo. She has somehow photoshopped it. So my thing is this. Something ain't right here. See, Lisa Van Allen says she gave the tape to Keith Van Allen. He talking about if it was... My bad. I mean Keith Muriel. Wasn't for this lady right here, they would have been stars. Come on now, somebody gonna have to. Can we get a subpoena? Let's see what's going on, cause I ain't never heard this part. Ha ha ha, what did she do? Tell Rob he had to stop showering, y'all? Ha ha. Rachel Dion. Tuffy may have a copy. Y'all would have been on Surviving R. Kelly. Yep, they would have been victims with pending cases. Keith said, I didn't know that. Okay, thanks. Then he comes back and say, y'all gonna make Sony Black hide. Who is Sony Black? Sony Black dying, he must have testified about it. Y'all need to share your story. Surviving R. Kelly, the men speak out. So y'all trying to get y'all a little story on Surviving R. Kelly? Like what? This shit, it's not making no sense. It seems a little bit fishy to me. You got Masons popping out left and right, Freemasons. Like, I'm just seeing a lot of red flags around here now. That's all I'm saying. It's just shit ain't seeming right. Now, a couple months ago, I came across some puzzling tweets. And doing what I do, I just saved them and said, I'm going to come back to them. But now that this story is becoming so clear to me and coming full circle, now I'm understanding what was going on. The same way you have Tim Savage manipulating the media with his press conferences, Michael Avenatti, Gloria Allred, all these people going to the press. This is what some people may call a shakedown. And this has been mentioned going back to the 2008 trial. So here's a reporter who was reporting on the case, and he's mentioning the fact that he's in the courtroom listening to Lisa Van Allen's testimony, and she makes it known that she gave the sex tape to Keith. This man ends up getting his number through her testimony, leaves the courthouse and contacts him. From there, Keith decides he's going to play a little bit with the media as well. And he led them on this bullshit ass run saying he's going to expose all the truth about this R. Kelly tape, when at the end of the day, it was all extortion. So my question is, why isn't he being subpoenaed or questioned by the FBI about this new case, since they're bringing up Rashonda Landfair? According to Kim Jansen, Lisa Van Allen, the prosecution's star witness in the 2008 case, testified that there was another unseen tape of her having a threesome with Kelly and the underage victim. My thing is, I believe there were more tapes of Lisa Van Allen and somebody else, but it wasn't no 14-year-old victim. She's trying to manipulate this fact for this specific charge for her extortion. Continuing, she said a guy, Keith, in Kansas, and another guy whose name escapes me right now had the tape. R. Kelly's attorney, Sam Adams Sr., asked her on the stand, "What's Keith's phone number?" At the judge's direction, she answered, "I ran out of the courtroom and down the press room where I called Keith. I was the first reporter to call him, and it took a minute for me to explain who I was and where I got his number." Keith said he might have the tape and to call him back. A few hours later, he eventually told me to meet him at Chipotle in downtown Chicago. I went, but Keith didn't show up. Every time I called, he said he was 5 minutes away at the House of Blues or on his way. He did sound like he was in a music venue, but he never showed up. I felt used and irritated. According to Jim DeRogatis' book, Soulless, which he keeps trying to push onto the stupid people, he makes reference to this Keith Muriel, Barry Hankerson, as well. Van Allen said Daryl McDavid, accountant who took over Kelly's manager, Barry Hankerson. So that may be motive for Barry Hankerson to play ball and not only conspire with this Lisa Van Allen, Keith Muriel, but send it to Jim DeRogatis. Because if you continue on in his book, Jim DeRogatis tells you he never met Keith, never talked to Keith. But Kim Jansen did, and he was trying to barter some press coverage with this so-called evidence. And you also notice how this Jim Jansen is not getting much retweeting. Nobody's interacting. You know why? They don't want to hear the truth. And this is clearly a verified Twitter account. Now maybe Keith was just having fun at our expense, in which case more fool us. But it felt very much like we were being used as part of a shakedown, which is far grosser. Again, interesting things they tend to leave out surviving R. Kelly. I covered the 2008 trial for the Sun-Times, and I'm curious whether this case explains something strange, gross that happened to me and a bunch of other reporters covering this trial. So that brings me back to Keith and Chuck. Did you all know Chuck sued R. Kelly? Yeah. How do you sue this man for failing to pay you for retrieving this sex tape that is supposed to be child porn and nobody's picked him up? And at the same time, clearly, as mentioned by Lisa Van Allen, Keith and Chuck knew about the tape, had the tape. So why would R. Kelly pay him as a private investigator when he knows where the fuck the tape is at? Excuse my language. I was trying not to cuss today. And what's funny is somebody brought me to this Sonny Black character, which he's mentioned on Keith Morrell's page when they're doing these little flashbacks. And notice they're sharing videos in which were directed or produced by R. Kelly off of Rockland Records. They're saying if it wasn't for this girl as pictured below with Tank, that's not even a real picture. She clearly knows how to manipulate images. So you don't think it's possible that Lisa Van Allen gave this tape to Keith and Chuck, who were envious of their bullshit ass careers? Gave this tape to this lady and she edited the tape? It's very well possible. Because after I share Sonny Black's post, which he's saying, it's funny seeing all the R. Kelly posts on if he did it or not. Watching Surviving R. Kelly, and all I can do is just say, wow, he might be done. See, that's what they thought. Because some of these people ain't paying attention. But as you can see in the middle, he blocked me. But oh, you didn't block me from your weak ass fan page, by the way. Don't worry, the truth gonna come out one way or another. After I call out Keith Muriel, he gonna change his profile. Don't run now. No, don't run. Don't hide. You want the spotlight, talent. Let's give it to him. Keith Muriel was given so-called child porn. No. Let's get the facts straight. Lisa Van Allen stole a tape with her on it as a consenting adult. Gave it to him. They concocted this child in this storyline through all these envious people, from Barry Hankerson to Lisa Van Allen, who's caught stealing, who goes back to him after the fact, probably to get more tapes. Here we go. Tia Ewing popping back up again, as she does, saying that the document says he paid that minor and her family to keep quiet. This is just how dumb she is. This is her style of reporting. The report alleges that he paid her. There's a difference in what the fuck she just said. I'll be trying not to cuss, but this just be working me. That is a deliberate way she is presenting these facts to shift the public's opinion. Lisa Van Allen, the prosecution's star witness in the 2008 case, testified that there was another unseen tape of her having a threesome with Kelly. And she's throwing this 14-year-old victim in there, but I beg to differ. I believe that other tape was her and her friend. And maybe that's why she went back in. she went back in to steal more tapes. The plot fucking thickens. The next morning, half a dozen other reporters covering the trial had a similar story. They'd each been told to wait at different restaurants in downtown Chicago. Keith strung each of them along. Two then didn't show. Now maybe Keith was just having fun at our expense, but it felt very much like we were being used as part of a shakedown, and that's exactly what you were being used for. Keith said he might have the tapes and call him back. He had those tapes, because remember, Lisa Van Allen told us she gave him the tapes. Go back and watch it on Vlad. Shout out to Vlad. He be getting them every time. This Sony Black character. Y'all had somebody like R. Kelly around you, and now y'all mad because look at you as of today. Got 109 people on your page. The fuck? While Derogatus didn't reach Chuck and Keith, he did speak with Lisa Van Allen, who also told her in the recent Lifetime docuseries Surviving R. Kelly. In her conversation with Derogatis, Van Allen, who says she started a relationship when she was 17, referred back to her, and by the way, 17 is still legal consent age, referred back to her allegation that Kelly would carry around a duffel bag full of sex tapes, and said again that she removed a tape from Kelly's bag because I just didn't want that tape out. Why would it be out? You put it out by giving it to Chuck and Keith. What do you mean? In the New Yorker piece, Derogatis reports that Freeman claimed in a 2002 lawsuit, so Jim Derogatis knows that this Freeman character sued R. Kelly because he was supposedly supposed to be a private investigator to retrieve these so-called sex tapes, but then they peeped game and realized he was shady and didn't pay his ass, took him to court. Jim Derogatis, the person slandering R. Kelly so bad, knows this, but have y'all heard this fat fuck saying anything about this? No. Derogatis goes on to mention that press conference that never was during Kelly's 2008. So he refers to the fact that these men were out here trying to set these press conferences up to expose R. Kelly and these sex tapes, but they never carried them out. What became of any other videos that Chuck and Keith might have found remained a mystery. And y'all mean to tell me y'all want to wait all these years to pin that mystery on R. Kelly? Seriously? Reports that Freeman claimed in a 2002 lawsuit that he'd been hired by Kelly's private investigator. Why would he hire the man as a private? That just don't make no sense. So from there, Jim Derogatis goes on to say that videotape from Chuck and Keith may lead to his indictment. And guess who pops up with this mysterious motherfucking tape? Michael Avenatti. From Jim Derogatis saying that this missing link could lead to his indictment from Chuck and Keith, probably, I'm not going to say for sure, but I believe so, linking up with these two men and Michael Avenatti. Then he gets on his Twitter trying to release images. And is this even moral for an attorney to be doing this? Never mind, he's being prosecuted for extortion. Maybe, ain't no maybe to it. He's clearly chasing R. Kelly to cut himself a better deal. But I don't think this is right. And look at this picture. Tell me that looks right. You got the Photoshop lady over here with Chuck and Keith, and then you come out with this bullshit. She need to stay to her motherfucking J job, cause this right here, no. Then you got Keith Muriel added, everything will come out when we get to Chicago. It will be big news. I remember hanging out with another reporter waiting for a phone call about when and where this explosive presser was going to happen. It never did. Chuck and Keith didn't tell the media what they knew, and they never testified during the trial. R. Kelly was acquitted on June 13, 2008. Now all of a sudden they want to be all on their fucking page, making references to this after this surviving R. Kelly goes down. Why? Another reporter says, when I was in Chicago covering Kelly's trial, these Chuck and Keith related machinations, I don't even know what the fuck that is, were a bizarre and tantalizing sideshow. At one point, the two men announced that they were coming to the city for a tell-all press conference. They weren't going to the police with these so-called bombshells. They wanted to have a tell-all press conference. Pryor's ex-girlfriend, Lisa Van Allen, told everybody he was the one in the tape. They always say we look so much alike. Do you really think it's not possible that this is who everybody is saying is R. Kelly? Because he himself has said it's him. He testified that he'd been told that the tape at the center of the court proceeding, one that pretty clearly showed Kelly having sex with and urinating on an underage girl, had been fabricated by two men named Chuck and Keith. People keep talking about Rayshana. You don't think it's possible that it's Lisa Van Allen dead in your fucking face? Because they did look a little similar. And here's a side by side so you can just visualize the manipulation going on here. At the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. And in the court of law, you are presumed innocent until proven guilty. And they have made it a point to make this man guilty before his trial in the public eye. And then they want to keep bringing up old facts to justify treating this man worse than a fucking animal. They treat animals better than they treat this man. So as you can see in this article, 2002, nobody had a problem with this fucking character, Charles Freeman, going to the public saying that R. Kelly literally pissed on him because he didn't buy back his sex tape of him urinating on a 14-year-old girl. What type of shit is this? On Friday, a Kansas man named Charles Freeman filed a lawsuit against singer R. Kelly and his manager, Daryl McDavid. Let's go on down. Apparently, Freeman's still feeling pissed on, and that makes him pissed off. Here's the lawsuit filed on Friday, and read the rest after the jump. for breach of contract. If this ain't the dumbest shit I ever heard in fucking life. That's like if you go buy some drugs from a drug dealer and they sell you some BC powder or some shit, some fucked up ass shit, you call the police. Like, that's the stupidest shit I ever seen in my life. But again, let's keep in mind, this girl on that tape is Lisa Van Allen, because Lisa Van Allen already told you she gave the tape to Keith. Keith was with Chuck. This is the tape they have. It's Lisa Van Allen and R. Kelly, period. Article from Billboard, 2002. R. Kelly sued over stolen sex tape. R&B singer R. Kelly, accused in Illinois of videotaping sex acts with an underage girl, is being sued by a Kansas City man who claims R. Kelly owes him $75,000 for recovering a stolen tape. So contrary to what Lisa Van Allen lying ass said, the reason why they didn't get more money is because R. Kelly refused to pay. Period. MTV, The New Yorker, all these people, Vulture, all these people reported on this. Freeman was an active figure in Kelly's case, even though he wasn't a witness, he didn't testify, and was also accused of creating a staged sex tape against Kelly. It was reported that two Kansas men allegedly paid by R. Kelly's representatives for the return of a sex tape would arrive in Chicago to offer more information about the sex tape at the center of the case. Keith Muriel and Charles Freeman were accused by Kelly's reps of faking a sex tape and trying to extort money from the singer. Records show in 2002, Freeman sued R. Kelly for failing to pay him $140,000 for the return of the videotape. Kells was eventually cleared of all charges in 2008. It took more than 6 years for prosecutors to get the R&B star R. Kelly into court on charges of child pornography. It only took a few hours for a grand jury to declare him not guilty, 'cause it wasn't him on the tape. So in closing, Keith Muriel and Charles Freeman are looking for their moment in the spotlight with surviving R. Kelly. But they need their moment in the spotlight in the courtroom. Okay? If you like this video, make sure you thumbs up. I'll be looking for those comments below. What are your thoughts, your opinions? What do you see? Was this or was this not a shakedown? Was R. Kelly or what was the surviving R. Kelly a shakedown or no? I see the same pattern from the last trial manifesting in this trial. Agree or no? Thank you for all those supporting the channel by liking. I appreciate those that contribute to the Cash App. It's always a blessing. Have a great night. I will be live later.